Hey everyone, so today we have one wall in our home gym on the Homestead that we haven't finished. I hung the drywall and just never got around to finishing the one wall because we had a whole bunch of stuff in front of it. So finishing it now. I was just wanting to let you all know that if you guys ever have a small drywall project, it is so easy to do it yourself. Let me show you just a couple little things that you'll need. You could spend hundreds of dollars on someone doing it, or just a couple hours a night for 3 or 4 nights and you'll have it done. So, yep, I'm doing it myself. I'll show you how it goes through all the steps after hanging the drywall. Hanging drywall is super easy. You just hang it up, make sure you got factory seams together because they kind of slope down a little bit for the mud. Screw it in. You're ready to tape and mud. Tape and mud is known to be the most technical, so it's not technical. I'll show you. Any screw holes, you want to just hit it with mud one day, give it a little sand, and then hit it again the next day, and it's ready to paint. So you can see this section I taped and mudded it yesterday. You'll want to do an initial coat one day, then you'll want to sand it, and then you'll want to come back and mud it one more time, and then you'll sand it again. And we're talking sanding takes seconds. You just lightly go over everything. And then very seldomly do I ever have to do a third coat. Maybe a couple little touch-up spots, but usually 2 coats, 2 sands, and you're ready for paint or texture. It's hot up here, I'm sweating. How do I get a hair in my mouth way up here? This is the tape I'm using. It's, I think it's a little whiter than normal. It's kind of a tan color, super thin. You can get even thinner stuff, but this is just fine. So this little section here was not factory. So it's gonna be a little more delicate on the mudding. That first coat you put on, you don't want to wipe it super hard because you kind of want it to coat over your seam tape. And the next day you're going to come back and give it a quick little buff with your sanding pad, and then you'll come back the second day and hit it with this guy right here. And that's going to spread your mud line out a lot wider, and it's going to make that thing disappear. Another tip is the first coat, you just want to get it on there. Make sure you don't leave any huge lumps. Small little drag lines are fine. Don't try to get it perfect. Just get a good coat on there. Even if it's on the thin side, let it dry, let it hold that seam tape in place or your corner tape, and let that dry. Come back, hit it with a little bit of sanding pad, and get that second coat on there. After that second coat and third coat, if you need, is where you're gonna be fine tuning it. So don't waste your time trying to fine tune it the first time around. So right there is a good example of just the first application. So you can see how my seam tape is kind of disappeared on one side and you can see it on the other. That's because it's a factory edge meeting a cut edge, which, you know, if you're saving money and you can't get a factory edge everywhere, that's what's gonna happen. And if that's the case, you're gonna have heavier mud on one side. Don't try to scrape it down too tight, and just come back the next day and hit it with some more mud with the wider scraper and build it up a little bit. It'll taper out, it'll disappear. There's another example of just the first application. You're gonna get these grooves. You're gonna hit it with the sander just to make sure there's no high spots, but that's gonna fill in the next time through. Watch. And you goop it up, get some material on there, make sure sure you got something to work with. See, and you're gonna get that stuff on there, and it's just, this next pass is gonna make it just super smooth. Build it up, see any low spots, build it up, scrape it. Nice slow drag. And it's gonna come out. I mean, look at that. That's almost perfect after what you just saw. So you can see, don't be finicky the first time around. Second time around, you can be a little bit more finicky, sand it. If you still don't like it, hit it a third time, and that third time is gonna make it pretty nice. Let me show you right up here in this corner. So this is a good example. You see how I got some little draggers up there? I'm not gonna mess with it. I put a little mud under the corner tape, and I'm gonna just goop it up with mud, get it sticking, and tomorrow we're gonna come back, hit it with a light sand, and it's gonna smooth out real nice. That corner is really wonky. It is not a super 90, so trying to get it really nice right now is not gonna happen. So we're gonna just get the corner tape stuck in there first time around, and then tomorrow we're gonna knock it down with a little bit of sanding pad and add a bunch more mud, and it's gonna look super tomorrow. So this seam right here, I have taped it, mudded it twice, sanded it once. And look how smooth that is. You can still see it's a little wet right there. So that seam looks super great. When I say sanding pad, this is what I mean right here. One of these sanding pads. You can get one of these bad boys at Home Depot or Lowe's. And tomorrow, that seam right there, a little buff with this, just, I'll show you. A little buff like that. Go over that, everything. See that little spot right there? I'll take it right out. You get it down to like that, paint is gonna be no problem. You're gonna have trim that'll come out to about here. That little thing, go through there. You're gonna be ready for paint in no time. All right, so there you have it. We got everything mudded, everything taped, all the corners taped, and yeah. Tomorrow will be sanding. Should take, gosh, like 30 minutes to sand that whole wall. And then we'll look for trouble spots and hit it with the big blade there. And then one more light sand and we should be ready to paint. Feels good to get this done. Couple tools that I was using, the bucket for the mud, small scraper and the big scraper. Now I'm gonna go clean it. Super important to clean your stuff all the way clean, and make sure you turn it upside down so it doesn't rust with the water in it. Drip dry or completely dry it. Seam tape, sanding block, easy, ready to use, small project, bucket of mud. The other cool thing about that mud is it is low dust. This is the corner material I use. I'm not kidding you. It makes the job so easy, and there's a reason why they call it Perfect 90. Super easy instructions on the back. It's really as easy as that. I've done quite a few projects with this stuff. Love it. All right, so we sanded the last little bit and it was ready to go. So the wife's up there painting the wall. Super exciting to have this little project almost checked off the list. Okay, so this is how it's looking right there. Got that wall done. Right now we're going to trim out this window. All right, so what we did here is we just took regular old fence boards, chopped them up, got the table saw out, ripped them down to size. We took just cheap cedar fence boards from Home Depot, ripped them down to size, and we're throwing a little oil-based cedar stain on them. It's gonna turn out super sharp. So we got the casing done. Super easy, just did a piece on the bottom, piece on the top, filled in the sides, and now we're gonna go ahead and trim out the top and the bottom, make it look a little bit like that one over there. All right, so there we have it. We got one window trimmed out, walls all painted. Whew, it's been a long time since I've had that. Sitting there waiting for me to get done. Give you a close-up view on it. Just gotta put those outlet plates back on. Doesn't that look sharp? Super sharp. Matches the rest of the room now.